Welcome to this audio guide about the Tower of London, one of the world's most famous fortresses, and the setting for some of the most dramatic moments in English history. You are in the heart of London, contemplating a complex that has served as a royal palace, prison, arsenal, mint, and now as a museum and home to the crown jewels. The Tower of London was founded by William the Conqueror in 1066, immediately after his victory at the Battle of Hastings. Originally, it was a simple wooden fortress, but it was rebuilt in stone during the reign of Richard the Lionheart. Over the centuries, multiple buildings were added, creating the complex we see today. The White Tower, the central and oldest building, is one of the best-preserved 11th-century fortresses in Europe. It measures 27 meters in height and has walls up to 4.6 meters thick at the base. This tower was not just a fortress, but also a royal palace, with luxurious apartments for the king and his courts. The Tower of London has been a prison since the 12th century, but it was not a common prison. Only high-ranking prisoners, members of royalty, nobles, and traders were imprisoned here. Imprisonment conditions depended on the prisoner's rank. Some lived in relative luxury, while others were tortured in the dungeons. One of the tower's most famous prisoners was Anne Boleyn, Henry VIII's second wife. She was imprisoned in the tower in 1536, accused of adultery, incest, and treason. Although she denied all charges, she was found guilty and beheaded in the Tower Green, just outside the Chapel Royal of St. Peter ad Vincula. Anne Boleyn's execution was a public but selective event. Only about 1,000 people were invited to witness it. Anne was beheaded with a sword, not an axe, a privilege reserved for royalty. Her executioner was specially brought from France, as English executioners were not accustomed to using swords. The tower was also the place of imprisonment and execution of two other wives of Henry VIII. Catherine Howard, his fifth wife, was also beheaded here in 1542, and Jane Grey, known as the 9 Days Queen, was executed in 1554 at the age of 16 after being used as a pawn in a power struggle. The princes in the tower, Edward V and his brother Richard, are the center of one of the most famous mysteries in English history. The two boys, aged 12 and 9, were imprisoned in the tower in 1483 by their uncle, who became Richard III. The princes disappeared and were never seen again. In 1674, the skeletons of two children were discovered under a staircase, but their identity was never definitively confirmed. The Chapel Royal of St. Peter ad Vincula is the final resting place of many prisoners executed at the tower. Anne Boleyn, Catherine Howard, Jane Grey, and many others are buried here. The chapel is a somber and moving place, where you can see the tombstones marking the graves of these historical figures. The crown jewels, one of the world's most valuable jewelry collections, have been kept at the Tower of London since the 14th century. The collection includes crowns, scepters, swords, and other ceremonial objects used in British coronations. The imperial state crown, used in coronations since 1838, contains 868 diamonds, 273 pearls, 17 sapphires, 11 emeralds, and 5 rubies. The Cullinan Eye, also known as the Star of Africa, is the world's largest cut diamond. It weighs 530.2 carats and is mounted on the sovereign's scepter with the cross. This diamond was cut from the Cullinan, the largest rough diamond ever found, which weighed 106 carats. The Tower Ravens are perhaps the Tower of London's most famous residents. According to legend, if the ravens leave the tower, the kingdom will fall. For this reason, there are always at least 6 ravens at the tower, cared for by the Raven Master. Each raven has a name and a clipped wing to prevent them from flying away. The Tower of London has been attacked numerous times throughout its history. During the 100 Years' War, it was besieged but never captured. During the English Civil War, it was captured by parliamentarians, but was quickly recovered. The last time the tower was attacked was during World War II, when it was bombed by the German Luftwaffe. The yeoman warders, also known as beefeaters, are the tower's ceremonial guards. These guards, who wear distinctive Tudor-era uniforms, are all ex-military, with at least 22 years of service. In addition to their ceremonial duties, the yeoman warders also act as tour guides and live in the tower with their families. The ceremony of the keys is a tradition that has been performed every night for more than 700 years. At 9:53 p.m., the chief yeoman warder closes the tower's main gates, escorted by armed guards. This ceremony is the world's oldest daily military ceremony. The Tower of London was also a royal mint for more than 500 years. English coins were minted here from the 13th century until the 19th century. The minting process was a state secret, and mint workers lived within the tower to maintain security. The Royal Armouries Museum at the Tower contains one of the world's most important collections of armor and weapons. The collection includes armor of Henry VIII, who was over 1.80 meters tall and weighed more than 140 kilos. His armor shows how his waist expanded over the years, reflecting his physical deterioration. The Tower Green, where many executions took place, is now a tranquil garden. However, the place's somber past is palpable. Public executions at the Tower were rare and selective events, reserved for high-ranking prisoners. Common executions took place at Tower Hill, outside the Tower walls. The Tower of London has been the scene of numerous escape attempts. Some were successful, like that of Ranulph Flambard, Bishop of Durham, who escaped in 1101 using a rope hidden in a wine barrel. Other attempts were less successful, and resulted in additional executions. The ghosts of the Tower of London are legendary. The ghost of Anne Boleyn is said to appear frequently, carrying her head under her arm. The ghost of the Countess of Salisbury, executed in 1541, has also been reported. These ghost stories have made the Tower one of England's most haunted places. The Tower of London was declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 1988. This recognition protects not only the buildings, but also the traditions and ceremonies that have been maintained for centuries. When you contemplate the Tower of London, you are seeing not just a fortress, but a testament to England's bloody and dramatic history. It is a place where power, betrayal, love, and death intertwine in a unique way. The Tower is more than a monument, it is a living historical thriller that continues to fascinate millions of visitors each year. Thank you for listening to this audio guide about the Tower of London. We hope you have discovered the dark history of this place, and that this experience has enriched your visit. The Tower of London is a place where every stone has a story to tell, where every corner holds secrets from centuries of English history. Enjoy the rest of your visit to this fascinating place.